If it won't, is it just something that you can't do yet? Or is it something that you could eventually get to doing, or is it something that would probably never happen? And I can't answer that. I can just ask the questions. So when it comes to passion, I think it's important to identify what it is. If you want to do something with it, where does WordPress fit? And then no matter how many of the different proverbial roads leading into what you're passionate about, being able to stay as close to the intersection of all of those things as possible is what I believe allows you to be successful in starting a business and being a sustainable business and being profitable in using WordPress. And at this point, a lot of people will quote, I know in a keynote that the late Steve Jobs gave, a commencement address actually, he talked about following your passion, and a lot of people lifted that out of, have lifted that out of his keynote and are prescribing it to passions. And, the younger generation or my generation, we love to do all that kind of stuff because we love to be told that, well, if you just do what you love, then everything else will fall into place. And the rest of you probably know that isn't how the world works. But there's a better quote by someone who I think is just as notable. And Walt Disney said, whatever you do it well. And do it well so that when people, do it so well that when people see you do it, they will want to come back and see you do it again, and they'll want to bring others to show them how well you do what you do. And that to me is far more impactful and far more applicable than follow your passion. Because we're not always going to be working on something that we're passionate about, but we do have the ability to do whatever it is that we're doing to do it well, and people do notice. So, with that said, that wraps up my presentation. You can find me online on Twitter at Tom McFarland. My website is tommcfarland.com, and my company's website is pressware.co, like the Pressware company. But again, I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate all of you being here. And if you have questions, comments, points of conversation, the floor is open for anything at this point. So thank you guys and girls very, very much.
What's the one big thing that you would have done differently when you started the business? You mentioned getting a CPA early. Anything else?
From a business perspective, that would be the number one. Well, basically, I formed the LLC early on because of my dad's experience in business led me to do that. Basically to protect my assets so that if anyone was to, God forbid, ever sue me, my home and all my belongings are protected. But yeah, hiring a CPA from the get-go to have just being able to call them up and say, can I take a distribution from this, or can I expense this, or can I write this off, or I've got a late invoice, but I need the cash flow in the business. Can I make a personal loan to the business? And they'll give you the advice on how to handle all of that. And that, honestly, every single time that comes back to be the number one thing I would do every time. I could go for days about different software and things, but hiring a CPA would be the number one thing.
I hate to be the talker, but
No, I want people to
yes,
talk.
no. So I literally was just told like 4 days ago how someone goes about their blogging process: Feedly, CoScheduler, and then something, I forgot the third name. How would your Pressware plugin fit into that, or is it something better that I wouldn't
Okay,
have to go
that's a
through
good
3
question.
different sites?
So these plugins, when I say they're simple, I mean they're extremely simple. So the first two that are out there right now, one of them is meant to, if you work with excerpts, the problem with the excerpt field, or one thing that ticks me off about the excerpt field, is that it is small. An excerpt doesn't have to be small. It can be a little bit longer, especially if you're sending a teaser out to a newsletter. So what this does is it allows you, as you're typing, it just dynamically grows. So you don't have to keep scrolling in this really small text box. And as you back content out of it, it'll shrink back to normal. It's just one of those things where when I paste my excerpt in, I can see it all in one place. The second one, I schedule a lot of posts out, and I do use CoSchedule. I didn't renew for the coming year, so after it expires, I'm gonna be doing something else. But, I have, if you click on all posts, you know, you're used to seeing all posts, add new categories and tags. There's one that I've done, the plugin is called Scheduled Post Shortcut, and it will introduce a submenu right under Add New that says Scheduled. It tells you the number of posts that you have scheduled. When you click on it, it takes you to the page that just lists your scheduled posts. So you don't have to hop around the WordPress admin going from all posts to scheduled posts and then to seeing them. It will just load up that one page. It'll tell you how many are in the queue. So and that's just the beginning. Like, it's just, I'm a huge proponent of what I call a strong 1.0. It doesn't have to be super feature rich, but it's a really strong foundation on which more powerful features can be built. And that was just released earlier this month. So, and it all plays nice with the other plugins that you've mentioned. There won't be any conflict or anything like that. Anybody else? Cool. Well, thank you all very much. Hope you have an awesome afternoon.